Welcome to Tennessee. I'm Phyllis. If you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. If you've already been viewing my channel, thank you so very, very much. I appreciate it so much. I live in Tennessee and I live on a 90-acre farm. I started the video last June, making videos last June, and I sure have enjoyed it. And now today, what we are going to make is something in the South that the majority of the people in the South, we call them soup, S-O-U-P, soup beans. Actually, these beans are Great Northern beans, and they're in your grocer. You just pick them up at the grocery store, maybe $2 or $3 for 2 pounds. Very economical bag of beans. This is what we're going to make today. Great Northern beans or soup beans. We've had blackberry winter here. It's been very cool. We've had a lot of wind. You can actually hear my chime blowing outside. Now, to make the beans, it's there's kind of parts to it, but it's not hard. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to soak the beans for 8 hours in good cool water. I'm going to do mine in a crock pot. So that makes it so simple. I use the crock pot to soak my beans, and you'll see this in the video. Water in the crock pot, the beans go in, they soak for 8 hours. I rinsed them off. You'll see all this in the video. After I rinse them off, I add chicken broth and seasoning. I look for any stones or any bad beans, discoloration of beans that, you know, might be in my array of beans that I have. Then I put them back in the crock pot with all my seasoning, and I also shred up some country ham. So it's going to be soup beans and country ham. It's going to be on the menu tonight. All right, I get a colander out, and I've got water in my crock pot. I've got my clean, cool water or cold water here in my crock pot. What we're going to do now is I'm going to, usually I don't measure these beans, but today I'm going to kind of measure them for you to see about how many we're going to need to put in this crock pot. All right, this is a 2-cup measure. Now, when you're working with these dried beans, you need to look for little pebbles, discolored beans. We're going to start out with 4 cups of beans. The broken beans, don't worry about those, but if they're discolored, you need to kind of take those out. And we'll be looking at them. We're going to soak these in the crock pot for 2 hours. All right, I just kind of drift through here and look. This bean, I'll pull it out. It's got, you know, darkness, discoloration on it. Here's another one with discoloration. I'm going to pull that out. You see the beans you don't want in there? The darker ones. You're not going to get them all, but you'll see them as you go along. Just look at them really good. Now today, we're going to soak. You don't rinse them today, you're just going to soak them. You see that discoloration? That's what you want to pull out. There was another one. There will be a few of them. Just throw those away. All right, this is 4 cups. 4 cups of beans. They're going to swell. Once they get wet, they swell up. You soak them. The reason for soaking dried beans like these is because they're easier to digest once you soak them. I think my crock pot is about a little over half full of cool, clean water. I will let this soak here on my stove for 8 hours today. I'll come back this afternoon and we'll do the other step to making our delicious soup beans. There's no need to put any seasoning right now or any chicken broth. Just water is fine because we're going to pour all this water off. All we're doing now is soaking our beans so that the outside of that bean gets very tender. It'll swell up with water. This makes the process a lot easier to digest. I'm going to put my lid on. 8 hours, I'll come back. 7 to 8 hours, I'll look at my beans. If I come over here and I take the lid off, and maybe they're all swollen up and there's no water on top of them, I'll cover them with a little more water. This is step 1. Okay, the beans have been soaking for about 7.5, 8 hours in cold water. So now what I'll do is I just lift the crock pot container out, and I've got my colander in here, and I'll just pour this water off, get my beans out of my crock pot, and I'll set my crock pot over to one side. Now what I'll do at this time is I'll just rinse off my beans. I'll just rinse them off good. And I'll just kind of check them. It doesn't matter if your water is warm or cold at this point. Just rinse them off. This is step 2. They've been soaking. They're ready to go into the crock pot for cooking. Go through here, just kind of look again. See if you see anything that might not need to be cooked, like a discolored bean. If you see one, just let it go out. See anything odd, just pull it out. Like that. Just take it out. Now, this is just the way I do my beans, and it's a wonderful, easy way. This is step 2, getting our beans in the crock pot, ready to cook. All right. Once I have them ready to cook, we will add our things that we're going to add to it. Let me bring you over here and show you what I'm going to put in there. What I'm going to add to the crock pot is going to be, I buy this little pack of Frosty Morn country ham seasoning pieces. You can buy these to, put with a biscuit or whatever. But I buy these and I keep these in the freezer. And I get them out and I just take them out and I cut them up into like maybe little bite-sized pieces that'll go good in your soup beans. And I just put them in the pot. Yes, I'm going to put some liquid in there. This is also 1 Vidalia onion that I've already chopped up. Not too big, not too small, just about bite size. There's one piece there that's big. I'll take it out. Put all that in there. Now, I have gotten 4 bouillon cubes. And I have melted them in hot water. This is what this is. Chicken bouillon cubes. It looks like they're not through melting. I'll go over here and get me some more water. And I'll let them continue to melt in some hot water while I add some water to our pot. Just going to add some water. Stir it up good. We're going to start cooking it now. Okay. When your pot gets about full, these pieces are not cut up very well. I try to cut them up, my hands are clean, into about bite-sized pieces. Because you don't want anybody to pull a big stringy piece out and, you know, try to eat that. Just pull that out. Well, I didn't do very good on the ham. Now, it will tenderize as it cooks, and it will get smaller. Just stir this up good. We're going to cook it another, oh, I'd say 7 to 8 hours. I will dissolve this a little bit. It will dissolve as it cooks, so I'm not worried about this. So I'm going to add this in. Now I'm going to season it the way I like it. I want you to season the way you like your beans. Basically, what I put in mine is a mix I have already made up. My mix that I sprinkle in a lot of things that I cook is garlic with a little salt. More garlic than salt, because I don't need much salt in here. I don't, because the ham is going to be salty enough. We don't need that much salt in our food, so the ham is plenty of salt. I will be adding, which I know you think this probably shouldn't go in here, but I like to add a little paprika. I just like that. So we just put a little in there. Gives it a really good taste. I'd say a teaspoon of the paprika. Gives it a very good flavor with the ham. I will add, even though I put the onions in there, I will put minced onions, excuse me. Probably a good tablespoon of the minced garlic. 1 tablespoonful of that. You want your beans to be really, really seasoned well. We don't like ours hot. You can put jalapenos in there, red peppers, anything like that you think makes it taste good. Now, I put chicken broth in, and we've got ham. Well, you say, well, I don't think that chicken and that ham taste is going to be good. Yeah, it's going to be good. So I will add some poultry seasoning, 1 tablespoon. You say, well, you're not measuring it. Well, I tell you, I've made these beans so much that I just feel like I can kind of maybe just figure it out. Now, I'm going to give this a good stir. Stir them all up. You know, I think it got up to 50 degrees here today, but my gosh, was it cold this morning. And had a frost. Our little buttercups had just turned their heads down. They were already up out of the ground, and they just got cold. I wish you could just smell already how good these spices that I have added to this, how good this smells. Now, I'll come back about every hour and stir this up, make sure it's cooking well. And so let's go ahead now, and we'll put it in our crock pot, and I'll bring you over here and show you. Got them in my crock pot. I always cook them on low. I just don't see the point in not letting them have a slow cook. They smell so delicious. They smell your house up so good. Everything smells delicious when these are cooking. People will always ask me, if they come in my back door, what in the world is cooking? And I'll tell them, soup beans and ham. And, you know, they just are amazed that I cook soup beans and ham. But in cold weather, there's nothing better in a blackberry winter to go in there and get you a bowl out of the crock pot of some good soup beans and maybe a little, you know, glass of iced tea and a piece of cornbread, and you're full. Your belly's full, and it's really good. Now, when I get these done, I'm going to let you guys have a bite of them and see what you think about them. All right, I'll see y'all when they're done. Okay, guys, our beans are done after 8 hours. Let's look at them. Don't they look delicious? What do you think about them? You see our pot liquor? There's ham, there's beans, soup beans, and onions, and our seasoning, along with our chicken broth. All right, let me get a bowl, and let me get some beans out, and see what we got, and see what it tastes like. Gosh, I wish you were here. You could taste them with me. Let me get my lid back on, and I'll sit you back up, and we'll see what they taste like. Okay, guys, let's see what they taste like. They look so good. Does that look good? I hope so. Let's see what it tastes like. These beans are so delicious. My goodness. You have, let me see if my ham got done. My goodness. 8 hours of soaking. Go do what you want to do. Part 2, I'm going to show you in the video. Showed you in the video how to get them rinsed and spiced up, plug them back up, cook them for 8 hours, go do what you want to. Then come back, and honestly, I'm going to tell you what I did for the 8 hours that they cooked. I slept. You can put stuff in your crock pot. You can look in your crock pot manual. You can put things in your crock pot, and you can go ahead, get it loaded, turn it on low, not high, low. Go to bed, get up in 8 hours, and you'll have whatever you want in here done. So my beans are done, and it's so simple. Now, let me show you what this bag of beans looks like. I can't quite eat them, but let me get the bag and show you what they look like at the grocery. They are, we call them soup beans in the South, Great Northern beans. This is a 2-pound bag. This is what I cook. You can kind of see what they look like. They're white. Great Northern beans or soup beans. I would really suggest that you get these, make you some. They're good in any kind of weather. People love them. It doesn't matter what time or day it is, what kind of winter, summer, spring, or fall. They're going to eat these beans. Now, I'm going to make some cornbread in just a few minutes for our dinner tonight and have our soup beans tonight. I wanted to let you all know that yesterday was a pretty eventful day down here at our house. Yesterday morning, Alan was working on one of his projects, which is an entertainment center that he was working on. And he was working at the table saw, and one of the boards kicked back on him, and he ended up getting cut by the table saw on his left hand, and he did get 12 stitches in his thumb, and in another stitch in his index fingernail. So if you're working with power tools, please be careful. Now, he works with a lot of tools a lot of the time, so there's always high risk for accidents when you're doing that kind of work. So he was very lucky not to lose a digit or not to get into the bone. He did not involve any bone, because he said as soon as it came, hit the saw, he immediately threw his hand back, and he grabbed one of his painting towels that was clean, wrapped it up, and came right into the house. I was in here, and I was dressed. I didn't have my shoes on. I looked at the cut, and I gave him a bag of ice, and we put the towel back on, and of course I drove him to the emergency room to get it taken care of. But he's in the recliner right now. Today he's doing better. But he's very lucky, very fortunate. But I wanted to share all that with you, that he does such great woodwork, and just hated that he got injured yesterday. It was pretty eventful, I'm telling you. The hospital staff at our hospital here in Martin could not have been any nicer to both of us than they were. They were just super great, and I thank them so much, and thank the doctor that did sew him up. So he's doing well today. He's a little sleepy from the pain medicine they gave him, and they put him on an antibiotic, of course, and he's taken that. So he's going to enjoy these beans tonight. They're good and soft. They're easy to digest. Soaking them for 8 hours in the water makes them break down a little bit and makes them easier to digest them. They have a lot of folate, magnesium. They're a plant-based protein, and everybody today is looking for some kind of plant-based protein to eat. And I'm telling you right now, this is it. This is it, the plant-based protein. And I did add the ham to it. You don't have to. I did add the ham for more protein. We want to try, and the doctors tell us we need to eat a lot of protein. So this is a great one. This is a great protein. And it's plant-based, like I said. So, guys, thank y'all for coming around today and watching me do my soup beans. My family, they ask for soup beans a lot. They enjoy them. They all like them. They were raised on them. I was not raised on soup beans. I did not know what they were until I married my husband, and his mother and his grandmother showed me how to make them. And I loved them at first bite. They were so good. I said, wow, somebody's got to teach me how to do these. And they did. And I'm so thankful for that, for people who invested, or who cared to invest their time in me to show me how to make things that I can take with me on to the next generations. I really appreciate that. And I know you guys are doing the same thing, and it's really, you might not think it's important, but gosh, it really is. Thank y'all for coming by today. Please like my channel. And I just feel that you guys, I'm just so thankful to you. I feel really honored that you watch my channel. It touches my heart more than you could ever imagine. And that you subscribe to the channel. I can't thank you enough for that either. It means the world to me. You guys are just, I don't know all of you by name. I wish I did. Please leave me a comment. I would love to talk with you in the comment section. I'd like to know who you are. I'd like to know where you're from. And I just enjoy you coming to my kitchen in Tennessee so much. And I hope that I can continue to do the videos that you enjoy. If there's something special that you would like for me to cook, I wish you'd just say, hey, can you make this? And I'll say, no, I've never made that before. But if you want to, we can try to make it together. I love you guys so much. And I'll see you in the next video. And I love ya. Bye-bye.